Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Insurance Explained. My name is Andrew Perlin. I got a question for you. What is the biggest financial decision you ever had to make? Think about that for a second. Maybe you're thinking about buying your first home or starting a business, saving for retirement, paying for your child's education. Those were all big financial decisions, not to be taken lightly, but I don't think they're actually the biggest ones. Because in my experience, the biggest financial decisions we ever make usually begin with something that's not financial at all. They begin when life changes. Let me tell you a story. When Jennifer and I first got married, we lived in a small apartment like most young couples. We had a plan. And the plan was we're going to live there for a couple of years, save some money, buy a house, and then start a family. Sounded like a great plan. And it was something that we actually discussed and settled on. The only problem was life had a different plan. Before our first anniversary, we found out that we were pregnant with our first child. And overnight, almost everything changed. I can still remember how quickly our priorities shifted. One day we're talking about where we wanted to go for dinner, and the next thing you know, we're walking through model homes trying to figure out what we can actually afford. We weren't just looking at houses anymore. We were thinking about bedrooms and school districts and backyards and safety and how we were going to afford a mortgage and how we were going to pay for diapers and how are we going to provide for a child that we haven't even met yet. And I'll be honest, it was exciting. Starting a family is an exciting thing, but it was also very intimidating because for the first time in my life, I wasn't thinking about my wife and I. I was thinking about my family. I was thinking about the responsibility. I was thinking about what would happen if something happened to me. And that's when the conversation like life insurance stopped being theoretical and became very real. Looking back, having our first child wasn't a financial decision, but it triggered some of the biggest financial decisions we ever had to make. And over the years, I realized that's how life usually works. Isn't it interesting? Nobody hands you a checklist that says, congratulations, you're having a baby. Here's how your insurance needs are going to change. Here's how your budget is going to change. Here's how your priorities are going to change. Life just doesn't work that way. Life simply moves you into a new season and expects you to figure it out. Nobody wakes up on a random Tuesday and says, you know what? Today feels like a great day to review my insurance. Nobody says, I think I'll spend the afternoon shopping for an umbrella policy. That's just not how people think. Life changes first. The insurance conversation usually comes after. Think about it. Before you got married, maybe the only person depending on your income was you. After you got married, someone else depends on your income too. Then the kids arrive. Now your paycheck isn't just paying your bills, they have to feed a family. It's paying for daycare, it's paying for braces, it's paying for college someday. Buying a home isn't just about buying four walls and a roof. It's taking responsibility for the one of the biggest financial commitments you're ever going to make. Starting a business isn't usually chasing a dream. It's creating an entirely new set of financial risks and responsibilities. Every one of those life changes should trigger one simple question. Does my insurance still fit my life today? Because here's the biggest mistake I see all the time. People will always prepare for the event, but they don't prepare for everything that comes after it. They spend months planning a wedding, but they never update their beneficiaries. They celebrate the birth of a child, but they never ask whether their family will be financially secure if something happened to them. They buy a larger home, but they keep the same liability limits they had when they were renting their apartment. They start a business, but they never stop to think about how much their insurance needs have changed. Life moves forward. Their insurance doesn't. One thing people sometimes forget is that insurance isn't alive. It doesn't know that you got married. It doesn't know that you had another child. It doesn't know that your income doubled. It doesn't know that you bought a bigger house. It doesn't know that you started a business. It doesn't know that you're taking care of aging parents. Insurance is a contract, and it only changes when somebody changes it. And that's usually where the problem begins. Most people don't ignore their insurance because they don't care. They ignore their insurance because life gets busy. They're raising kids, building careers, paying mortgages, running businesses, helping aging parents. Insurance slowly moves to the bottom of the list until the one day they actually need it. That's one of the reasons I created the Athlon Protection Scorecard. Not because insurance changes every year, but because your life does. So let me leave you with this one question. Think back over the last 5 years. What changed? Did you get married? Did you have a child? Did you buy a home? Start a business? Change careers? Get promoted? Move closer to retirement? Now ask yourself this follow-up question. Has your insurance changed as much as your life has? Because here's what I've learned. The biggest financial decision you'll ever make usually begins with a life change. And every major life change deserves an insurance review. If you'd like to find out whether your insurance still matches your life you're living today, I'll be happy to help. You can complete the Athlon Insurance Scorecard or just schedule a review using the link below. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you found this episode helpful, I'd appreciate if you'd subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you know somebody who's going through a major life transition, please share this episode with them. This is Andrew Perlin with Insurance Explained. Thank you very much, everybody. I do appreciate being here. Take care. Bye.